know so far about The Sims 4 Life and Death. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, V Street Love. I'm Vanessa, and on this channel, I like to make silly Sims videos. And sometimes I like to talk about upcoming expansion packs. So today I want to talk about The Sims 4 Life and Death. This is gonna be one of those videos where I'm just like gabbing, chit-chatting, if you will. So grab a beverage, cozy on up, or maybe turn this video on while you're doing some chores, because I'm just gonna talk to you. In this video, I'm gonna go over everything we know so far. I want to talk about early hints and how the Sims team has teased this pack over the last couple of years. I'm gonna talk about new features that should be coming with The Sims 4 Life and Death. I want to go through some reactions that the community has had. And then we'll talk about what we should expect next as far as like the promotion of this pack. But before we continue, I would like to remind you that I am a part of the EA Creator Network, and I do have a code that is sponsored by EA. Just the code is sponsored by EA. This video is all me, but my code is VStreetLove. So if you are interested in pre-ordering The Sims 4 Life and Death or purchasing any of the packs that The Sims 4 sells, you can use my creator code VStreetLove in the promo code box. A small 5% commission comes to me. It's not actually a discount for y'all, but you know, it's a little less money for EA, so it's kind of a win-win. But let's go ahead and get into it now. So the first thing I want to talk about are early hints and the way that the Sims team has teased this whole Grim Reaper Life and Death ghost thing over the last couple of years. The first thing is, does this look familiar to you? This is a screen grab from the Behind the Sims Summit that took place on January 30th, 2023. So if you don't remember, basically the Behind the Sims video is like a thing that the Sims team does to let us know what we should be expecting from the Sims franchise moving forward, right? And they haven't done one of these in a while, but in this particular Behind the Sims Summit video, there was a Sims guru that dressed up as the Grim Reaper just to make a quick cameo in the beginning. From what I remember, I don't even think the Grim Reaper character showed back up for anything else related to the video, but there was a just quick random cameo for essentially no reason. And this was almost 2 years ago. Then when the Sims 4 team announced the Cozy Bistro kit, which came out pretty recently, Grim was just in the background chilling at a bistro, again, for seemingly no reason. Grim showed up in the back of the Love Struck trailer, and I think you could argue that it was because there was going to be a new death announced, but then they have a quick little interaction where Dawn and the Grim Reaper are kind of like giving each other eyes and kind of flirting. And the inclination there is kind of like, oh, like Dawn is going to be kind of trying to hit on the Grim Reaper. But at this point, there's not a lot of interactions that we can really do with Grim. So now it's feeling kind of like an early Easter egg hint kind of thing for this upcoming pack. As far as other hints that have been going on, well, the Storybook Nursery kit just came out recently. And in the background of the Storybook Nursery kit, as you can see, there's like a graveyard outside, a cemetery, if you will. Now, it could kind of mean nothing because it's like we have tombstones and stuff that we can put out in our backyards for the Sims that we work with now. But the tombstones themselves look a little different than the ones that we currently have. And it gives the vibe of like graveyard cemetery when that's not really a thing that we can do right now in the game. Another thing that I'm looking back at now and thinking like, maybe this was a hint for future gameplay is the Sims 4 for Rent unit rules. They have a rule that says no ghosts, and when you really think about that, that's a little bit strange. Right now, the ghost gameplay is like super lacking. Like, yeah, you might have a ghost in your household, but that's not one of the things that's really integral to how you play The Sims for real. I know that there are some people who like to play more with ghosts and that sort of thing. I'm not trying to discount that at all. I'm just saying it's really not easy to add a ghost to your household and then have them just hanging around all the time. So the fact that this was included in a pack that came out in December of 2023, once again is an indicator that they've been kind of teasing out some of this gameplay that was going to be coming for a couple of years now. And so then finally, I think the biggest thing that we can refer to as far as like hints of this pack and how it will impact our gameplay is the Reaper's Reward event that's going on right now. So the idea with the Reaper's Reward event is that you log into the game, you do a couple activities, and you get some of this free stuff. This Reaper's Reward event is available to everyone, which means that this is all stuff that's essentially base game compatible. So when we look at the stuff that's like base game compatible, we can then kind of maybe speculate on what the base game update could be with the new Life and Death expansion pack. So I just want to point out a couple of the items that feel very like, I don't know, life and death expansion pack adjacent. First, the Grimophone. The Grimophone allows you to just summon the Grim Reaper. They also are giving us the Scare Seeker Lot Challenge. So the Scare Seeker Lot Challenge is, I guess, supposed to make your Sims excited instead of scared when they go to a lot. So my speculation here is that maybe we will get a lot type that brings a lot of ghosts together, and you can apply this lot challenge Scare Seeker so that when Sims show up, they get excited about seeing a bunch of different ghosts. Okay, so then there's also another reward you can get called the Spectral Spritzer, if I'm looking at my notes correctly, the Spectre Spritzer drink. So I think that this will allow your Sims to temporarily turn into a ghost. Although I think there is already something like that in the game. So a little confusing. And then the last big thing that we're getting that is very much like a indication of some changes to the base game is the Casket of Quiet Repose. We don't have base game caskets right now. So it makes me wonder if we're gonna be getting like a cemetery lot type that comes with the base game update for the Life and Death expansion pack, which would then also make the Scare Seeker Lot Challenge make sense. Like if everybody gets a cemetery lot type, we get caskets where we can bury our dead, and then you can have the Scare Seeker Lot Challenge applied to your cemetery lot type so that when ghosts show up, people maybe go to the cemetery just so they can see ghosts and get excited. Okay, so now I wanna move on to breaking down the trailer and like talking about the different features that they said should be coming to this pack. Now, if you want to know where I'm going to get like most of my information from, it's going to be coming from the Sims website and the EA app. So the Sims website has the pre-order page up right now for the expansion pack that has some information on it. There's also a blog post about the expansion pack that has a bunch of information in it, as well as surprisingly the EA app. The EA app has information that's not included in the pre-order page on the website and not included in the blog post on the website. So between these three different places, you can figure out a lot that is supposed to come with this pack. So you don't have to believe me, you can go double check my work if you want to. But not everything that I'm talking about is coming from the trailer alone. That's the point I'm trying to make. I have these three different places where I've pulled information from. So let's start with the new world, Ravenstown. Wait, Ravenwood. When I was on stream, y'all, I could not remember the name of the sound. It's Ravenwood. Do you guys watch Pretty Little Liars? I do not, but people who watch Pretty Little Liars feel a connection to the name of this town. So in the trailer, they start showing us high-level overview of this new world, Ravenwood. One of the things people pointed out in this trailer is that we can see a new thing where it looks like the roof is a little dilapidated and has holes in it. It's making me wonder if this is the roof texture itself, or if this is like a piece that you can put on the roof as like roof decor to make it look like it's dilapidated and has holes in it. They showed this screenshot of the world. I feel like this is another neighborhood. So in the blog post, they talked about like a casket skit. I can't speak. In the blog post, they talked about like a casket sale. I'm gonna read directly what it says. They talked about a village called Crow's Crossing. And in Crow's Crossing, you can happen upon the Try Before You Die casket sale. Just looking at the screenshot, I would guess that this is the casket sale, but they didn't confirm that exactly. In the trailer, they just show this screenshot. And then another screenshot that we see in the neighborhood is this screenshot. It looks really dope. To me, this reads as like there's a festival going on because there's a lot of flags and stuff up. In the blog post, they mentioned a bunch of different festivals that will be happening with this new expansion pack. But obviously in the trailer, they don't say that. They're just showing us stuff. They also showed this. I don't know what this is. It does remind me of Chestnut Ridge though. You know how Chestnut Ridge, there's like that horse mountain rock thing. Take this as you will. Now, when I'm thinking about Ravenwood, I was also thinking like, it kind of reminds me of Windenburg and like the look and feel of Windenburg. Windenburg is like vaguely European. Also like the dilapidated area of Ravenwood kind of reminded me of this. The ruins in Windenburg, and also Forgotten Hollow. Ravenwood feels like it'll be a nice complement to Forgotten Hollow with the style of architecture and kind of like the general eerie and spookiness. I feel like the new Ravenwood world will fit in nicely with some of the worlds that you may already have. So aside from the world, let's talk specifically about some of the features that were teased, not just in the trailer, but what they talked about in the blog post, the listings, etc. Funerals. So in the trailer, they show an elder sim looking sick or dying in a bed. I move my face just so you can see really quickly. They're all sad, they're all crying. And then he just rolls over and dies, I guess. And a little light comes from his face. It's like, what the heck is happening here? They don't say this, but it feels like elder sims might be able to basically die in bed. This could be movie magic though. This may not be something that you can actually do. They said not all things in this trailer are real. So I don't know about this, but the fact that they showed it and then they also have screenshots of this, like official Sims screenshots of this, makes me think that this could be possible. But again, that's speculation. The trailer goes on to show off different kinds of funeral setups. So we've got this cool setup that has like the casket in the middle. I can see an urn up here as well. We have a picture of the Sim dead, and then a bunch of like the new items, like the shape of this rug. These chairs look super dope. And it also looks like there's a matching love seat and possibly a couch, fingers crossed, a rocking chair, new bookcases, new fireplace. So much to be seen here. And again, specifically, pay attention to the different ways in which you can bury your dead. So we've got this covered casket, but then they also showed this other setup, which shows a ledger, stone, and marker. I had to look that up. I did not know what the little flat cement thing was, even though I associate it with cemeteries. I think it's called a ledger stone. They also still have the picture of the Sim with like the flowers on it in different places. And then they also have confetti cannons, which they confirmed in like the blog post or something, which is interesting to have confetti cannons at a funeral, but you know, okay. And then lastly, it seems like if you don't want a casket and you just want to have an urn, that looks like a different urn than what we normally have right now in the game. So I am interested to see all the different like customizable urns and caskets and stuff. And then the trailer itself goes on to showing a funeral that's happening in this storyline. I guess if you haven't seen the trailer, one, go and watch it, but two, it follows a Sim named Liv, who it looks like her father passes away. And after her father passes away, she goes and decides to live life to the fullest. And it ends with her basically making peace with her father passing away. It's a great trailer. So these are just a few screen grabs of different like funeral activities that seem to be hinted at, because they specifically zoomed in on our character Liv here lighting a candle. It looks like she's giving a eulogy. And then there's another Sim friend who's kind of like pouring one out. And I wanted to read directly what they put on the blog post just so I don't mince words at all. They say that when planning a funeral, players can choose which Sims attend and who the deceased is, select a dress code and color for guests to arrive in, pick from a variety of 14 different activities, and determine the location and time of the funeral. This is sounding familiar. They go on to say some examples of activities include giving a lighthearted eulogy, lighting candles, which they did show in that previous screenshot, planting something, or serving food. One of the things they also say is that you can have multiple funeral related events. So it's not like one funeral, you can plan different funeral related events. And what does that sound like to you? That's right, folks, my wedding stories. Yes, I'm thinking, again, now we're getting to speculation mode. I'm thinking that the way that we plan funerals is gonna look very similar to the way that we plan weddings and the way that we can create a date with the new Love Struck pack. So with wedding planning specifically, they allow us to choose what type of wedding related event that we wanna have. So it doesn't have to be just the wedding, right? We can do bachelorette parties, receptions, rehearsal dinners, engagement dinners, etc. So I think, and I'm hoping that it's not just like funeral. Like, I think there'll be related events that we can plan. And then from there, you get to choose who does what. So they said that you can choose who the deceased is and then who the guests are. So it makes me wonder if there's like gonna be the deceased, like a principal organizer of the funeral event, and then the guests. As far as activities, we already know that the activity planning looks essentially like this, where there's a bunch of different options and you can add as many as you want. Dress code. Now they did say the dress code color and that sort of thing. So the guest attire thing is what we've seen with the wedding planning. And here you can choose the dress code, what style of stuff that they wear, and then what color that they wear. And I wonder if it's going to be the same sort of thing with funerals. Also with weddings, there's like a wedding cake situation. So it makes me wonder, like, is that how you will choose an urn or a casket? I don't know. And then finally, you can choose the place and choose the time of when the wedding will happen. And I think this sort of UI and screens is what we might expect for funerals. Same thing with date planning. And I'm just showing like these screenshots again. Like, this is how you create a date or create a hangout with The Sims 4 Love Struck. So this whole planning system seems to be something that they're leaning on. And I personally really like that. I kind of want them to revamp parties in general with this planning system. I want to create a party system where I choose what the goals are. I choose what the main thing that we're doing is, the activities, and where it is in the time. So then another feature that they said that they're adding with this new Life and Death expansion pack is grief. They say that there's going to be 4 different types of grief. The different types are denial, holding it together, I'm looking at my notes, anger, and blues. And I'll read it exactly how it says it. It says that the grief type a sim receives is based off of their traits and, if applicable, their relationship with who they lost. And they also said that grief is not limited to death, that it can be impacted by life events like losing a job or having a divorce. And they talk a little bit about grief counseling and all of these other little features that are tied in with it. So it feels like we're getting a grief system coming with this pack, which I'm actually pretty excited about if it means that maybe my Sims won't be just crying all the time about someone they barely knew dying, you know? Another thing that they're bringing with this pack is wills. And how I'm looking at it, estate planning. So they show this moment in the trailer about, you know, our main character that we're following reading the will to who I think are her siblings. And from there, there's like a little scene where she's reading the will and then those simoleon bubbles poof away and they're like angry. And it does, and again, this is like a movie magic moment. Like, are they actually getting angry from reading the will or not? Well, according to the blog post, apparently you'll be able to set all kinds of things when you make a will. You'll be able to set how people feel when they read the will, which is interesting. You'll be able to designate certain items as heirlooms, which are passed down. You'll be able to set who takes care of your children, dependents, or your pets after you pass away. And another thing that they say is basically you'll be able to decide what happens with the household money after someone passes away. So I am curious how this system like actually looks in game, but the fact that we can actually plan out what happens to our Sims stuff and money after they die, mind blown. I'm so excited about this feature alone. Personally, for me, between the funerals and the wills, I mean, I was excited about the pack for those features alone. Everything else so far seems really cool. Because the other thing they talk about is the new careers that is coming with this pack. So they said that we're getting 2 careers, an active career and a rabbit hole career. The active career is, yes, you get to play as a Grim Reaper. I don't know which one of y'all was asking for that, but it wasn't me. I am not really an occult girly, so that's not the thing that I was looking forward to when I heard about this pack, but I'm glad that y'all occult people are getting what you want. So yes, you'll be able to work as a Grim Turn, they said, where basically you get to like do different things that are Grim Reaper related and then eventually play like reaping souls and stuff. So that's like an active freelance career is what they said, but then they also said that we have a rabbit hole career where you get to play as like a mortician, and then there's like different branches, but that's like a regular old rabbit hole career. I also want to say that with this Grim Turn thing, that Grim is just kind of like hovering in the background, and I made a joke on my live stream that like he must be the worst micromanager ever. The Grim Reaper is in the back here, so even though Liv is doing it, the Grim Reaper is still supervising. It's canon. I don't know if you guys are paying attention. The Grim Reaper is a micromanager. Toxic. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, and turning on the post notifications so you know when I go live next, because we always have a lot of fun on live. And I talked a lot about how I'm feeling about everything almost for the first time when we were on live. So we have a lot of fun there. You might want to check it out. Another thing that they showed in the trailer is like this moment here where our Sim is like standing outside of a portal doing some magic. Don't know what this means. Don't know what this is. It's giving other dimension, but not confirmed. Not even confirmed in any of the reading. I don't know what this is. So then another feature that's coming with this expansion pack is bucket lists. Bucket lists are like things that your Sims wants to do. I think it combines wants and aspirations that are like almost like lifetime-y related goals. Again, this is the part that I'm a little bit confused by, and I would like to see this in a future either gameplay trailer or developer live stream. But it seems like you do these different things, but it is all in an effort to help you with the possibility of becoming reborn. More on that in a moment. So in the trailer, we had our Sim Liv who went to swim in this lake thing, which according to the blog post, I'm thinking is the Baleful Bog. So she went and she swims in it, and then she temporarily becomes a ghost, and then she's able to check off one of the items on her bucket list, called Scare the Living. After she does this, they show her turning like back alive. So I got the impression from that swimming in the baleful bog as like an alive normal sim will temporarily turn you into a ghost. Almost like that drink that they're giving us for the Reaper's Reward event. Which then kind of ties into the concept of ghosts being updated. So in the trailer, there's like a brief mention at the very end that the ghost that's in the trailer, the dad, didn't want to stay around to like master his ghostly powers. But other than that, there hasn't been a lot of conversation about what the ghostly powers is, except for on the EA app itself. So I wanted to take this directly from the EA app because this is like very interesting and it's actually not mentioned anywhere else. It says power progression for ghosts has 5 tiers split between good and evil lanes, as well as a 4-tier neutral track in the middle. And then it goes on to say you can work to unlock powerful abilities. They talk about a stamina gauge, and then you get more see-through if you have low energy or whatever. But basically it sounds like ghosts are getting an updated occult system that mirrors vampires, werewolves, and spellcasters. And then another huge feature that's coming with this Life and Death expansion pack is the ability to get reborn. Now, this is another one of those things that it's like they just hinted at in the reveal trailer, but it sounds like it's gonna be like really, not to say in depth, but like a pretty major thing. Basically, if your sim does whatever they need to do on their bucket list, or if they don't do what they need to do on their bucket list, they have the option to like remain a ghost to do unfinished business. And the unfinished business is like completing their bucket list. Again, I'm saying that kind of like uncertain because it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff coming in this pack in my opinion. So the option to be reborn as a sim, it seems like it's unlocked after you've completed everything on your bucket list. From there, they say that you swim in that baleful bog, which is that spooky lake that I showed you earlier, right? And I guess it takes you into Cass, where it will allow you to choose how old the sim is going to be and then plug them into another household and set the relationship that they have with the sims in that household. And on top of that, you might be able to carry over like skills and milestones and stuff from your previous life. And you might have like a special connection to the sims that you were related to in your previous life or knew in your previous life. I don't know. My uncertainty is not coming from the fact that they didn't talk about this. They did talk about this. The way that I'm even able to talk about it in even any detail at all is because I read details about it already. My confusion is coming in like, it sounds like a lot. And it's a really dope feature that they just didn't really explore in the reveal trailer at all. Everything I know about this feature is coming from the blog post, the listing, and the EA app listing, okay? And then the last major thing that was shown in the reveal trailer itself is like cemeteries. So they go through and they show 3 different styles of cemeteries. And they give us the impression, this part is speculation, that we'll be able to build our own custom cemeteries. Here you can see this one looks more of like a park style cemetery. We got a more fancy cemetery that's like less green, just more stones and the ledger stone style. And then we have more of like a spooky, eerie cemetery that has some crypts. And they mentioned crypts in like the blog post. Apparently we'll be able to woohoo in crypts, sims. And quite frankly, this is the only feature that I am concerned about being in the advertisement for the Life and Death expansion pack. I would hope that cemeteries conceptually come to everybody, the way that the wedding venue lot type came to everybody when My Wedding Stories came out. And another reason why I would hope that's the case is because in the Reaper Reward event that I talked about earlier, we are supposed to be getting a casket. So essentially like a base game casket. So I don't know, I'm just kind of like hoping that means that cemeteries or graveyards in some sort of form comes to everybody. And maybe all the fancy crypts and that sort of thing is exclusive to the Life and Death expansion pack. And then there's just more. There's just more details that have been outlined in the blog posts and in the listings that weren't even really touched upon in the trailer. One thing they did touch upon in the trailer they showed us is tarot cards. But what they said in the blog post is that this will basically be a collectible. You can collect it, I don't know how, but then you can also purchase it in build and buy mode. But they said in the blog post that if you have all of the tarot cards, you'll be able to do readings for yourself and friends. So I love that for me. It's a sort of witchy girly myself. They talked in the blog post about the Moon Revelry Festival, but they showed this screenshot in the trailer. So I just kind of put 2 and 2 together. The speculation part of this is that this screenshot is the Moon Revelry Festival. But they did show this in the trailer. Just what exactly are they showing? I'm guessing is Moon Revelry. And the Moon Revelry Festival, I guess, is just a party bonfire situation. They said that clothing is optional at this festival. Funny how they made sure all the Sims were clothed for the trailer, but I find that hilarious. They also just casually showed an image of a ghost cow plant. If you've never had a cow plant before, the cow plant is one of those things that you unlock when you get like a really high gardening skill. And right now, when the cow plant dies, it just is bones. It's just a bone cow plant. So the fact that there's possibly a cow plant ghost, I don't know if this is movie magic or if this is a new feature that we should expect. And then the blog post details new traits that are coming to the game, a new aspiration that is coming to the game, a new skill that's coming to the game, even more festivals other than what I mentioned just now. And then also they talked about haunted houses briefly. To me, this expansion pack is jam-packed with all kinds of new gameplay and features, and I didn't even touch really on the cast or the build buy that's coming with this pack. But then that begs the question, how do people feel about this? So initially it seems positive, right? I took a few screen grabs of different comments for different reasons. These first 2 comments I just found hilarious. I hope the Sims stay more in line during funerals than weddings. If a Sim does push-ups next to a coffin, I'm losing it. When I first read that sent me, okay? Someone else says, it's going to be hilarious when a celebrity comes to my funeral and everyone is cheering them on and ignoring my casket. And it's like, it's just Sims shenanigans. Like, that's just funny. A lot of the things I have seen though have been really, really positive. Someone says that they lost their dad a couple of years ago and the trailer made them cry. The trailer, if you haven't seen it, again, go and watch it. It's so good. Someone else says that they've never had any of their Sims die of old age before, and they always cheat to extend their Sims life. Mostly because it's anticlimactic, but now it seems like there'll be more emotion around saying goodbye to a Sims and more satisfying, and they really like that. And I agree with that sentiment, that I'm not incentivized right now to have my Sims die. I mean, I at this point in my saves right now, none of my aging is on, but I do want to turn it on when this pack comes out. Someone else was commenting on how crazy it is that Rebirth is coming, and someone else says that it's been a while that they've been excited for an expansion pack. And they said that it looks pretty feature rich, even just from the trailer alone. And these comments I took were from the trailer. And someone else says, as a console player, they are excited. Now that comment came from my TikTok, which is where a lot of the kind of like not excited comments that I have came from. Okay, so the general negative comments that I've been getting have been around like a couple of the same sort of themes. One theme is that a lot of things that EA puts out right now is just buggy. A lot of the packs are buggy, things don't work. Another thing that people have been talking about is that the pack itself is very close to being a mod, so then therefore maybe it's not even necessary. Other people are saying that a lot of the content that's coming in the pack should just be free. And those variety of comments have really been aggravating to me personally, because I'm just like, some of what people are saying doesn't make sense. The buggy comment, actually no comment on that. But as far as like, oh, it's a mod, I just want to go back to the person who said that they're a console player and that they're excited that they'll be able to get new gameplay around death. That's not just in a mod. I think people forget that console players cannot play with mods. And then also people forget or don't care that some simmers like myself don't like playing with gameplay mods. I'd rather the Sims team actually make a pack that puts the features in the game. Someone else said that they want to pre-order it, but they're worried because of my wedding stories. And I do want to say that it seems like the Sims team has been intentionally making more updates to my wedding stories and making sure that it works. And I think, again, speculation, it's because the funeral system is going to be built on the same bones as the wedding planning system. So if the wedding planning system doesn't work, the funeral planning system won't work either. So as you can see here, there's been a couple of updates recently that have extensive updates and enhancements to how weddings work with My Wedding Stories. So then going back to other comments, people saying that this should just be free was really grinding my gears, because I felt like this expansion pack is the most expansion-y expansion pack, I've been saying that exact phrase, that we've possibly ever gotten. I mean, if you've paid attention to everything that I said that's coming in this expansion pack, it feels like the most feature-rich expansion pack that the Sims 4 team has ever put out. And quite frankly, I said on my live stream on YouTube and on TikTok in my video that this expansion pack could be the best expansion pack that sets the standard for what I expect expansion packs to look like moving forward. Someone else says that it's Inzoi that's got the team working in overdrive. And that one also kind of made me mad because, and that's why I started this video by saying that a lot of the teasers about what's coming in this pack have been happening for a couple of years now. Like, they didn't just find out about Inzoi or see the Inzoi little preview and then decide to make the pack. Like, they've been talking about Death, the Grim Reaper, making additions for Ghost gameplay since January of 2023, and it is October of 2024. And who knows how long they've been working on this since before then. The Inzoi comments have been getting on my nerves. And then this one sent me, okay? This one almost had me crashing out, I'm not even gonna lie. This person said, honestly, I'm frustrated because nothing we actually want is being put out. And when we have consumers like you, talking about me, mind you, who hype up things that should honestly be part of the base game, I really wish consumers like you would stop hyping up BS and making EA think they're doing something. Eye roll emoji. I just want to be very clear that in case you are new to my channel or new to just me as a Sims content creator, I basically don't talk about something unless I really like it. If I don't like something, I'm not really going to make a video about it. I'm not going to talk about the features. I'm not going to say like, you should definitely get this. But if I'm excited, if I'm genuinely excited about something, I scream it from the rooftops. And I think what's most aggravating about this conversation is the line when the person says that it's nothing that people actually want. I have wanted funerals in my game for essentially ever. And the fact that people are saying like this should be a part of the base game update, I think that new Sims players don't understand that getting free base game updates is an anomaly. It's not so, it's an anomaly, babes. I've been playing The Sims since I was a kid, since The Sims 2 days. You used to buy an expansion pack and that was it. There was no updates, there was no changes, there was no fixes, there was none of that. You just bought the expansion pack and that was it. So the fact that the Sims 4 team now will sell us something and then correspondingly give us something else, I think that's good. And don't take this as me being like EA's defender or anything like that. Absolutely not. I just think it's really frustrating when people want to make just broad stroke statements that don't even make sense. I am excited about the stuff that's coming in this pack. Why would you come in my comments and say that nobody wants this stuff? I'm somebody, okay? Anyway, rant aside, at the end of the reveal trailer, they talked about how the gameplay trailer is gonna be coming out on October 17th. So the reveal trailer is just like, hey, a new pack is coming out, and here's a sneak peek at some of the things you can be excited about. But then the gameplay trailer is usually a follow-up trailer that's like, okay, no, let me show you specifically what are some of the gameplay features that you should be expecting in this pack. And I don't know what the gameplay trailer is even going to look like, to be honest, because there are so many features that they could show us. They could show us the funeral system, they could show us wills, they could show us the ghost gameplay, they could show us the careers, they could show us all kinds of stuff, and it still wouldn't be enough. So I'm also hoping that they actually do a developer live stream. And yet again, I just fear that it won't be, even with the developer live stream, we won't get all of the like salacious details that we want. And that is basically everything we know so far about the Sims 4 Life and Death expansion pack. Again, if you are interested in pre-ordering the pack or purchasing any of the Sims 4 packs on the EA website or on the Sims website, please consider using my EA creator code VStreetLove. Again, the creator code alone is the part that is sponsored by EA. Everything else in this video are my opinions and my opinions alone. But that's it, folks. I mean, tell me, what do you guys honestly think about this expansion pack? Are you excited? Do you think it's a ripoff? Do you think this should have just been included in the base game? I mean, just tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, liking the video, and turning on the post notifications so you know when my next video goes up. I do go live weekly on this channel, so you're gonna wanna be subscribed for that. But don't worry, the fun doesn't stop here, baby. Check out the other videos on my channel, and until next time, y'all, dag dag!